later, but the guts in this story refers to an internal organ you might not think of too often. That organ is a uterus. During the 20 years I was a labor and delivery nurse, I saw thousands of babies born. People used to say to me, oh, that must be such a happy place to work, like as if all we did was hand out pink and blue bundles of joy all day. When the truth was, there was a lot of scary situations, a lot of stressful times when the mom and baby's health was at risk. Now, is anybody here pregnant or thinking about getting pregnant? I'm not trying to scare you, because believe me, every other woman you ever met is going to come running up and tell you her horror birth story the minute you announce your pregnancy. Believe me, I heard them all. But the thing is, there were some times where we had emergencies we had to deal with. Sometimes we'd have to run down to the emergency room because they were always afraid the woman was going to deliver down there, which used to crack me up because these were doctors and nurses that dealt with mangled bodies and gross physical injuries, and God forbid they were going to see the most natural thing in the world. One time I was down there and I was helping to deliver a baby, and they were all huddled around like they were witnessing this miraculous event, which for the mom and dad of the baby, it certainly was a miracle, and that really was truly the best part of the job, just witnessing the joy of the couple at the birth of their child. Now, all babies are born with a set of reflexes, one of which is the grasp reflex. And you guys have been around babies, you might have experienced this. You put your finger in a baby's outstretched hand and they're going to grab onto it. So my favorite thing to do after the baby's born, I'd say to the dad, go ahead and touch the baby. Go, it's your baby, go ahead and touch him. So invariably he'd put his finger in the outstretched hand and the baby would grab onto it. And it was this tender little bonding moment. It was really sweet. So by now you're thinking, yeah, get to the guts of the story, you know? So the creepiest thing that ever happened to me was one day I was doing an internal exam on my patient to see if she was fully dilated and ready to push. She had an epidural, so she was comfortable during the exam, which was good. Now I'll take a brief minute to give you a little anatomy lesson here if you're not aware of it. Before the baby comes out of the uterus, it has to come through the cervix, which needs to be fully dilated, which is a lot like if you were pulling a turtleneck sweater slowly over your head. The cervix is like the turtleneck of the sweater. So when we would do the exam, we would feel the baby's head and make sure the cervix, or the turtleneck part of the sweater, was completely out of the way so the baby could come through. So I'm doing an internal exam on my patient, and I don't feel the head. I don't feel baby's head. I feel something that's kind of longer and narrower than a head. I'm thinking, is this a leg? Is this baby somehow in a breech position? So I'm running my hand along this thing, trying to figure out what it was. Now, meantime, the patient's looking right at me because I've been rummaging around in her vagina like it was my sock drawer or something, you know? And she says, is everything okay? Now, what I can't say is no, because your baby, at this point, I forgot the most important part. As I'm rummaging around her vagina, something has grabbed onto my finger and is not letting go. So I'm thinking, oh my God. So that's what says, everything okay? I said, I can't say that, no, your baby, at least I think it's your baby, has a death grip on my finger. But what I do say, because I've had years of experience staying calm in emergencies, oh yeah, you're just not ready to push yet. I'll be right back. So I get my hand out of there, take the glove off, wash my hands. We'll leave the room, run down the hall, call the doctor, better get up here quick. She comes up and verifies that, yes, indeed, the baby's arm has slipped through ahead of the head. The baby's basically waving to us from the room, which might seem like a friendly gesture, but not in that situation. It wasn't safe. So we said, we have to get you down the hall and do an emergency C-section. So we take her down and we do the surgery, during which time she does lose about a pint of her blood, which is about average. If any of you had a baby, birthing babies is a bloody business. But the mom and the baby came through fine, and I didn't even tell the dad that I was the first one to hold the baby's hand. Because I didn't want to ruin that tender moment. Besides, I'd already had my spooky little Halloween kind of moment, which I will always remember as my very own close encounter of the unborn kind.
Thank you, everybody.